Do we need an emergency to make people pay attention? Apparently we do. The question is, what do we need to make people get along? Because if we don't get along and everybody's everybody's enemy, we're never going to fix anything. Don't you people get that? They asked the Congress lady when she met last month, what happens now? And she didn't have an answer.
I just want what Newton wants, to reinforce stability and harmony in the civic world. Wouldn't that be nice?
Hit the button, baby. I need your love.
Ladies and gentlemen, after a week off, I picked up the weather gauntlet again. And when we're talking about weather, especially the 4 storms that are going to be hitting the Pacific coast in the next 10 to 12 days, obviously, all good watchmen need to be keeping their eyes on the Oroville Dam. So I Googled the old Oroville Dam, and it looks like we got a decent amount of news coming out, even in the last 24 hours. Oroville Dam leaders, locals give DWR Director an earful. I read that story. That story's weird. Independent review of Oroville Dam emergency to begin. Geologist, Oroville Dam structurally flawed as storms bring new risk of flooding. And, most interesting, Jerry Brown's administration blocks public review of Oroville Dam. All right, let's move on, shall we? And sometimes, when stuff gets too stressful and doomy, how I deal with it is telling jokes. So if you can't handle that, then you should probably go get your information somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Because I do the best I can. If that's not good enough for you, then don't waste your time here. Thanks. Geologist, Oroville Dam structurally flawed as storms begin new flood risk. As mentioned, we got 4 storms coming up. Dun, 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 dun. We got storms lining up in the Pacific this week. This is 1 that is hitting California now, and the upper Pacific coast. That's 2. That's 3. This is 4. All right. And this one looks like a freaking monster. So that's what we got coming. So that's what they're talking about. This was yesterday, with water rising 15,000 feet per second behind Oroville Dam, and 2 weeks of heavy rain, winds, and snow about to be unleashed. A respected geologist is warning that the crumbling of Oroville Dam Spillway is due to the use of structurally flawed rock. So having read the story, it's basically like they took a look into it and they're like, okay, the original stuff they did the foundation on was crap rock instead of good rock. And so the original plans were pretty incompetent. And as I mentioned in the video before, they've said if repairs to the damaged Oroville spillway, an emergency spillway, were not fixed by November 1st, it would create very significant risk, like the dam breaking and a massive flood happening in the California Central Valley. Although the media have lost interest in Oroville Dam, a heavy rainstorm this weekend is currently flowing water into the reservoir at a rate of 30,000 feet per second. The dam engineers are only capable of draining a maximum of 12,900 feet per second to the dam's power station. That doesn't sound good at all. As a result, the water level on the 903-foot Oroville Dam has jumped to 857.5 feet. That is over 7 feet above the safety zone and only 3 feet below the levels that California Department of Water Resources must start, shut down, repair operations, and again open the water flow down the heavily damaged main spillway. And I've considered the main spillway like the wick in a firecracker. Yet the more that thing erodes, the worse the situation is going to get. And a grim reminder that Mother Nature is far from done with this year's rainy season. There is currently a better than 50 to 80% chance of rain, heavy winds, flood risk, and falling snow levels for 8 of the next 10 days throughout the Sierra Mountain areas that feed into Oroville Lake, according to AccuWeather forecast. So yeah, that's not good. Oroville Dam. Leaders give locals DWR Direct an earful. They give the director an earful. Now, I read this article. Apparently, like, the Oroville Dam is up for relicensing. So they had a public meeting, and he was saying that a lot of people rooked him. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission was due to relicense the dam this summer. However, most people doubt that timeline will hold. And so, what if they don't relicense it? You're just going to close the dam down? That seems weird. Like, how do you... It's not a McDonald's. It's a giant 900-foot dam, man. What are you going to do? Butte County never signed the agreement. County Council Bruce Alpert led the historical section of the presentation Tuesday and talked about many things that were promised when the dam was originally built. Today, providing low-cost power to residents who live near the dam would be welcome. Well, if it's like 50, 60 years old, if they haven't provided it yet, I don't think they're going to get to it now, especially when a lot of that money has to go to fixing the dam. The county loses millions of dollars by paying for roads and law enforcement, he said. Millions of dollars are also lost to property taxes from land now underwater. Think about that. Millions of dollars are also lost to property taxes from land now underwater. It's in bad shape around there, and I don't think the media is fully reporting it. That's my opinion. There was one night I picked up some AccuWeather video footage of some of the areas flooding, and that got dumped at like 4 in the morning. And that was the only thing I've ever seen. Oroville Area Supervisor Bill Croyle added to the historical perspective several times. He said he felt tricked in the past when he was made to feel like an important collaborator in the process to relicense the dam. Now, with fresh scars to the hillside where the water spills from the dam, Alpert said a new focus on past and present inequities needs to be addressed. We are years into relicensing, and DWR has still not lived up to the terms of the first license. Do we need an emergency to make people pay attention? Apparently we do. The question is, what do we need to make people get along? Because if we don't get along and everybody's everybody's enemy, we're never going to fix anything. Don't you people get that? The bad publicity and physical problems of the dam are costing people money. Yeah, so that's jacked too. More delays for relicensing. Appointments needed from Trump. Well, fantastic. Oroville and the Feather River Recreation and Park District expect to receive tens of millions of dollars over the next 30 to 50 years when the hydroelectric facilities received a new license. Hundreds of millions of dollars in funding is also planned for areas around the dam, like wildlife areas, the state park, and Feather River Fish Hatchery. The money comes from water users who receive water from the lake, which is operated by the DWR. The original license was approved when the dam was completed in the 1960s. That license expired in 2007. Since then, DWR has operated with temporary permits. Long history of negotiations and delays. It's government, after all. Then in February, the spillway began to crumble. People were evacuated, and plans are now underway to fix the area where the water flows from the dam to the Feather River. They asked the Congress lady when she met last month what happens now, and she didn't have an answer. All of the effort has been directed towards the Emergency and Recovery Center. I want to see a win-win for everybody. Hey, me too. I'm not really worried about the license people. And then over here we got Jerry Brown's administration blocks public review of Oroville Dam records. Well, that sounds like one heck of a conspiracy theory. Governor Jerry Brown's administration is using federal security regulations written to thwart terrorism to deny public access to records that experts say could guide repairs to the Oroville Dam and provide insight to what led to the near-catastrophic failure of its emergency spillway. Oh, great. Well, we can dive into this conspiracy, so that's the gist of it. This is very, very disturbing to me. Me too. So I guess in the next one, I'll show precipitation, and either had a West Coast video come out before this or after it. There should be a link up like now. This is all really serious. I'm in a weird headspace at the moment, people. You know, it's like Oroville Dam is America in a nutshell. And damn it, we're just not doing anything well or together. And it's like everybody's like a spoiled brat. It's like their emotions and feelings are more important than logic or common ground. So, you know, I don't know what to say. Man, I mean, people are, like, some people were saying, oh my God, you're a fearmonger about the weather. It's just like it was 40 years ago. I'm like, well, no, because for the year, the America precipitation, which means how much rain and snow has fallen, is double the yearly average. Double the yearly average. And we haven't even talked about the snowpack that's in the Sierra Mountains. There's tons of it. They said it was like 46 inches when they deduced it the other day. It's almost 4 feet of water over how many miles, I do not know. And so all it's going to take is one major storm until this is way back on the front of the news. And we don't want that. And so I didn't feel comfortable when I was in California a week ago, knowing that all these storms were coming. And I don't know how people there do either. So my suggestion is just stay aware, stay alert, stay informed, and have some type of a backup plan or an evacuation plan when it starts to go south. Because they basically said if you get any major storms before November 11th, you're FUBAR screwed to the max. And they're going to say that warning was all they needed to give. And then it'll be in regulation forever. There's a giant T. That's weird. Come on, people. Let's come together. It's my fault. I should be doing a much better job of leadership. All right. God bless everyone. Talk to you soon.